Welcome to Local Roots, your favorite podcast brought to you by the Richmond Farmers Market. We're here to celebrate the heart of our community, local farmers, fresh produce, and artisan creations that make Richmond, Indiana truly unique. Join us as we take you behind the scenes with interviews, tips for seasonal shopping, and stories straight from our market vendors. Catch us on YouTube and all major podcast platforms. Don't forget to subscribe and share with your friends. Stay rooted, stay connected. It's time to grow local with Local Roots.
Which one's faster, hot or cold?
What? Hot?
Because you can't catch a cold.
Mine is better than that.
Yeah, but I didn't even have to look it up.
I wouldn't be proud of that one. Okay. Hi, Lucy.
Hi there. How are you guys?
We're great. How are you doing?
So good.
I'm good. It's raining.
How did that go?
I don't know so far. Probably good.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. We were talking about that today, how it's just been the weirdest summer of like heat wave, no rain,
Droughts.
Yep.
Then we get torrential rain
Flooding.
for a few days.
Yep.
Flooding. How's that affected you guys? And especially now going into the winter season.
Or, I mean, like it's Halloween. We've had 80-degree weather this week.
Uh-huh. That's been weird.
It's been very weird.
So because we are a regenerative farm, our soil can hold a lot of water. So the drought's not really affected us all that much.
That's good.
Oh, that's cool.
But we do have to water things. We've been hauling, I don't know, hundreds of gallons out to the winter crops.
Wow.
Not one 5-gallon bucket at a time, like 7 5-gallon buckets at a time.
Wow.
And we're nearly out of rainwater. We have, I don't know, 1,500 gallons of storage in many different tanks.
Interesting.
And you're almost out.
And we're almost out.
That says something. Do you usually run out?
Actually, yeah, we, because even though we had drought from mid-August on, we were really wet most of the spring and summer. So we had a whole lot in reserves, just about ran out. And then Helene came and filled everything up with that, 3 to 5 inches of rain.
That was a lot all at once. Yeah.
But that also gave us a lot of diseases.
The rain did?
The hurricane.
Really?
Those winds will just bring things up from the tropics that we're not used to seeing.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys have noticed, before Helene, all the corn was a really beautiful gold, and now it's turned kind of this smutty gray color.
It's very dreary looking.
Yeah. It's got fungus all over it. And,
Wow. I did not know
and
that's
it is
why.
from that storm.
Wow. Who would have thought?
We got like weird stuff on our peas and raspberries.
Not the raspberries.
They grow out of it,
Yeah. Good.
which is nice. The peas tried to grow out of it, and then we started getting frosts. About every 10 days we've gotten a frost. And so it's like a new crop of peas just about is ready to go. And it just froze. So they're kind of ruined.
Yeah, we have. Like, it's been like 80 degrees during the day and then like 35 at night. It's bizarre.
Yeah.
Strange weather. It always makes me think of you guys, like what you're going through. Because I mean, I think we all think of it like it's inconvenient to be going back and forth like this. But when you're trying to grow plants in this and crops to bring to the market, I mean, just think of how much it affects us in a day, like to see that effect on plants as well. Like, have you had any that have gotten ruined?
Yeah. But not so much from our leek crop got ruined. And I'm not sure why. Well, I know what's doing it, but I don't know what happened to cause this. It's full of onion maggots.
Ooh.
They're little tiny flies
Yeah.
that lay eggs and which turn into maggots on carrots, leeks, onions, garlic. about any root crop. And they got at our leeks the first time that's ever
I was
happened.
gonna say, has it ever gotten on leaks before?
No. Or not in the wet, little bit.
Yeah.
Get a little bit of damage. Oh, we've got like beds just collapsed
Wow.
and the leeks are rotting and going away.
Do you just go out there one day and they're just falling over, or how do you notice
and,
that?
Yeah. They're just a pile of leek on the ground,
Wow.
not this upright plant. And we got leeks, but most of them are damaged.
Yeah.
So you've been a vendor with the market for how long?
Since on and off, we took a lengthy break, but we started in, I think it was 1994
Wow.
when it was down at the depot.
I was just a couple years old.
Me too.
I was a youngin'.
Maybe more than Hannah.
I was a little bit more than a couple of years old at the time.
So you've seen it really evolve from back then to what it is now.
Yeah.
What do you think the most positive change has been in that time? We've got vendors, not just yourselves, a couple other vendors that are still hanging out with us from there.
When the city took over, that really allowed the market to thrive because I've watched it also devolve.
Yeah.
It went from when we started in, I guess it was 94, it was a big market. There were like 50 vendors.
Wow.
I'd say like 2,000 to 3,000 people came through on any given Saturday, unless
great.
the weather was really horrible.
Yeah.
It was great. Well managed.
I didn't know it was that big back then.
Yeah. It was a major market.
Yeah. Well, I know there's a lot of people that have come, especially when we were celebrating like that 50th anniversary when we had the Patch of Paradise luau. We would have people that came up to the shed questioning where we've been because, you know, it's our 50th year. And we tried to reassure them, yes, we've been here for 50 years, but what the market looked like then is not what the market looks like now. I mean, we
Right.
had several people that have ran it, lots of volunteers, different groups of folks. It's been in different locations. We even directed them towards vendors like yourself and Dawn, for example, that have seen that evolvement of the market. Just to say, like, if you want to know more about the history, these are the people to go to because you've seen it all.
Tim Downing.
Tim Downing is another one. Yeah. Today's Harvest.
Yep.
They've been there for a while. How long's David Reed been there? He's been there for,
A long time.
yeah, he's been there for a while too.
Divots have been there a long time.
Yeah.
Today's Blessings. They joined up. I don't think they were down the depot. They
Oh, Sweet Blessings?
Yep. They
Really?
they joined up when it was in the parking lot that is now Elstro.
Yeah.
And they're joining us this winter too.
Yay.
Yay.
Yeah. We're excited for that because we didn't have them last winter.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Let's talk
So
about
we get
this
them
winter.
back.
We have been working on placement, and the amount of season pass vendors we have this winter is probably record breaking for that building.
Yeah.
For sure.
Cool.
Yeah. It is going to
Yeah.
be really cool. And it's such a good balance of farm to food to craft.
Yeah, I
you
saw
know.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah. It really,
We have microgreens again.
We have
Yeah.
microgreens again. We'll have, like we said, Sweet Blessings will be there. So we're going to have hot breakfast, a huge variety of baked goods, different types of baked goods. That's what's really got us excited. Everybody's doing something different. And, you know, we've got some really talented artisan vendors and then folks like yourself who are just continuing to bring us that produce even in the wintertime.
a new pork vendor. We went out and
have a new
visited their
meat vendor?
farm last week. So
I like to say we put the farmer in farmer's market.
There you go.
what kind of winter vegetables do you think you'll be bringing here in the next few weeks?
With the rain, hopefully rainbow carrots. That's like pretty much our most popular thing we grow.
Yeah.
Right now they're weenie. It's just no way to get enough water on them.
When do you plant those?
We plant those late July.
I was going to say, it's early.
Yeah.
Like when we're enjoying the middle of summer, you're planning for winter.
Yes, we are. We're actually, March is when we plant leeks. We used to do parsnips, but there's not a great demand for them, so we dropped that. Those went in March.
Wow.
Sweet potatoes, they go in pretty early. Potatoes are going in April. Winter squash, that goes in, when squash goes in May, June.
Yep.
Yeah, I know a lot of people think our squash is picked every week. It's like, no, it's a storage crop.
You kind of have to think like an event planner. We laugh all the time
Yeah.
because it's October. People are enjoying harvest festivals and trick or treat and different things. We're already thinking about December, February,
Holiday
March,
festival, plant swap.
holiday festival, getting things lined up. And you really kind of have to think the
we're-
same way.
We're thinking about April.
Yeah.
Yep.
Right now, we're actually thinking, though, I believe Eugene, he's the guy, my husband, who plans out where things actually go in the garden. He has a map,
Yeah.
just pretty much plugs it
nice.
in.
Yeah.
So garlic is the next thing we'll plant, like in the next 2 to 3 weeks. Garlic gets planted in winter.
Yep.
You have to tell her about the garlic in your office.
Oh my God.
You did.
I did tell
Well, now we
her.
have to share it.
Well, now to share the
Yeah.
lovely story. So Lucy generously donated a silent auction basket to our silent auction for Harvest Festival. And it was a very garlicky basket. So what all did you put in there? You put in there like some
Garlic
bag
salt,
of garlic.
some garlic powder, some fresh garlic, and
we
the
see a
black
theme?
The black garlic.
Garlic.
And the coveted black garlic. It's just a whole other story in itself. But yeah, I had this basket. I put it in my office. We were getting ready. We were tagging everything for the auction. You needed to get in my office one night.
She had left.
Yeah.
And I had to go into her office to get something. And I had her on the phone and I said, Hannah, your office smells like spoiled ranch dressing.
And I was immediately concerned because if I eat in my office, it's like popcorn. So if anything, I'm like, it should smell like popcorn. It should be delicious in there. But
I'm like,
ranch,
no, it does
of all
not.
things. And
Did
I'm like,
not smell good. And so I'm looking around her office. I'm looking in the trash can thinking like, did she throw a ranch packet away or something? And could not figure it out. Opened the windows.
oh yeah, she aired it out in there. Yeah.
And then our boss said, does my office smell like ranch dressing? So then everyone's like their trash
Checking
out.
their trash. They're putting it outside.
And so it took until the next day?
It was the next day when I started moving these baskets around because I was doing like the final touches on some of them to get them all wrapped up and stuff. And I just happened to grab yours and I went to move it from like here over. And when I did that, the whiff that I got when I like did this, I just went, oh no. It's the garlic.
Well, and your garlic smells amazing, but it was something about the combination of the garlic mixed with the wooden basket, mixed with whatever else was
and if
in
it gets intense,
and closing
from,
the door in my office and
yeah.
just really blocking in a room full of garlic. I mean, once you knew what it was, it almost smelled a little different. Like, I can, because ranch, it's got some seasonings and stuff in it, but it kind of, it was like an aha moment. And I was like, Lucy, you guys haunt me with garlic.
yes.
Because back when Hannah was pregnant last winter, before any of us knew she was pregnant, it was one of the first days that you brought the black garlic. And I was obsessed with it. And I went and bought a bunch and I shoved it under her nose. And I was like, smell this. Because it smells so good. But she had been smelling it all morning and it was making her nauseous because garlic was just one of those things that
It was the number one thing I could not stand. Now, I normally love garlic, but I could not stand it when I was pregnant. And you shoved it under my nose. They were set up right across from us. So, you're right in front of me with it. So anytime the wind would blow, it just did this like circle effect and it was like blowing it right back on us. And then your lovely husband, Eugene, came up. Did you guys smell this? And was shoving it back under my nose. And I'm like, I've got to get out of here. I quit. I'm going to have to quit at this point. But, I pushed through it somehow.
And now the garlic came back to haunt her again.
But I made a joke. This is how we knew I was not pregnant this time.
But I said, now I know if I ever have questions, I just need to bring her some garlic around her. And if she turns green, then I know.
Man. Yeah. But that was a funny story.
Sorry, you brought up garlic. I had to share that funny story.
Yes.
What do you have a favorite thing that you grow?
Garlic.
Oh gosh. It's one of my favorite things that you grow too.
Second favorite would be peppers.
Okay.
They're so beautiful.
They are very pretty.
So
I got a
versatile.
very pretty picture of the peppers.
Yeah, for a couple of years, we were doing a huge grow out of habaneros.
Oh, that's become so big, like the ghost pepper.
We were doing it for Hidden Pond Farm.
Nice. Yeah.
So picking like 200-300 pounds a week.
Wow.
Wow. That's
They're
a lot of
not
peppers.
hot, but my hands would, you could feel it kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a lot of peppers.
It's a lot of peppers.
How many plants would you say that is?
It's like 200, 300.
Wow.
My gosh. So to understand the scale, how much land do you guys grow on?
We grow on about, I'd say 2 acres, 2.5 acres.
Yeah.
Have 2 high tunnels, which the layman would know as a greenhouse. A basic greenhouse. Real greenhouse will have concrete floor,
Yeah.
heaters, fans.
And is that how you're able to bring produce to us all winter?
Yes, it is.
That's a big question that people have right now too. So it's just, well, what will we find this winter?
Yeah.
You know, and we've been working hard to kind of educate people, because I think when we get outside and it's May and it's starting to get warm out, people come to the market and they immediately expect to see, you know,
All
tomatoes
farmers,
and corn and those sorts of things. And, you know, you have to remember that we are in Indiana. These are local farmers that are subject to the same growing conditions you're getting at home.
Exactly. You're dealing with the alternative food system. We're not Meijer. We're not Walmart. We're not Kroger.
We're not shipping it in from the, you know, West Coast
or South America.
Or other countries? Yeah.
Because we get like 70% of our produce from other countries.
Yeah.
We do not grow enough.
Yeah.
Isn't that crazy to think about? Like how, like, I always look at the labels on my food and you see, or not even just food, anything. Like I like to see where it came from, because it'll really shock you sometimes. Like how much you see it from just random countries.
But then you wonder why you go buy some bananas at the store and they start turning in 3 days. Well, that's because those bananas were probably picked 2 weeks ago. By the time they get transported and packed up and shipped to the grocery store and actually put out. So when you come to the farmer's market, you're getting...
That's such a process. When I was like 20, 21, my dad took me to Guatemala for like this 3-week educational tour. We toured a banana plantation in Honduras.
Wow.
Every border, they don't fly them much because that's really expensive. They truck them. So
Really?
yeah, it's like from Guatemala or Honduras up to California. I guess it'd be Yuma, Arizona is where they'd get on a train somewhere to go somewhere in the U.S.
Interesting.
They have to be fumigated through every single border. And I don't know what's in that spray because they fumigated the bus we were on.
Oh.
And it was like, get off and don't get back on for an hour.
Oh.
And it's like,
And that's going on your food.
yeah, probably
Interesting.
organic or anything because they're like, no, we spray everything.
Wow.
We don't want bugs to hop the borders. So
Yeah.
that went through Honduras into Guatemala. They got sprayed. Guatemala into Mexico, sprayed, and they'll spray at the U.S. border. So that's...
Wow. It's interesting.
And they're green. And they also dip them in some blue liquid that they told us humans do not touch.
But they're dipping the bananas in it.
Yeah.
Oh.
Wow.
That's comforting.
Yeah. It's like, okay.
I bet that was interesting to see though. Cause you know, I worked at Walmart for a while when I was younger, and one of the other associates once they asked me, what do you think our number one seller is in Walmart? Do you know what it was?
It'd be bananas or avocados.
Bananas. That is was then. I don't know about now.
Yeah.
I would assume it's probably still.
Because they had the cheapest banana price. They could beat anybody by a
Yep.
couple of cents.
That was the top seller out of everything. I mean, and Walmart sells a lot. Bananas.
I wonder if avocados has taken over. They seem to have more space on their floor for avocados these days than.
Could be. Anyway, sorry,
but that
digress.
has
But
nothing.
for winter, since you are able to bring produce year round, which is, like I said, a big question people have right now. Will we still find vegetables? And the answer is yes.
Yeah, there's a lot you can grow in Indiana in the winter.
Yep.
Tomatoes are not it.
No.
Nor is corn.
You couldn't do corn. You could do tomatoes, but it'd be costly.
Yeah.
Because you're heating indoor spaces and lighting them. And I've talked to people who do winter tomatoes, and they're going through like 10,000 cubic feet of propane a month.
I believe it.
And they have to have, they might be LEDs. I haven't talked to anybody in years. It used to be sodium halide. And those are really expensive to run.
Yeah.
So you're like looking at every month probably $7,000-8,000 just to.
Could you imagine the price tag on that tomato?
Oh my gosh.
And I mean, these people are
tomato.
running like 5,000 tomato plants in a tunnel, and tomatoes in a tunnel can produce a lot, like 1,000 pounds a day.
Wow.
Or 2,000 pounds a day. So they wouldn't do it if they weren't making their money back.
That's true.
But it's really energy, uses a lot of energy, and we don't go there. We do run lights. We run solar on our farm, so lights are cheap.
Yeah.
And what we do, we grow appropriate crops. Hardy greens like kale, collards, chard, root crops, carrots, turnips. And then, as we were talking about earlier, there's a whole lot of stuff we grow through the summer. Garlic, winter squash, potatoes, sweet potatoes,
Berries.
berries. Though actually the berries are always the ones that are growing in. We still have some because they're in tunnels.
Yeah.
Well, we're still getting blackberries. They're not in a tunnel, but they're waning quickly.
Yeah.
Like the strawberries, after I'd say December 15th. I don't know if it's light or I don't know what's going on, but they mold. They get big, they get the full
that's
size,
unfortunate.
and then they get this gray mold all over them, and it gets really rampant through the plants. And that's when we just give up on them and let them go to bed for the winter.
We are about to see a time change in a couple of days. So
true.
how does that affect you?
I like this. I like Eastern Standard Time, so not much.
Yeah.
Makes it a little easier to get to the market because the market's essentially an hour later
Yeah.
until we get used to it. And
Yeah. So packing up for the market, people, we're open from 9 a.m. to noon. So people come out and, shop during those hours, but they don't know what it takes for you to get there. So tell us about a day, what it takes for you to get
Okay.
to the market in a day.
To prepare for the Richmond Farmers Market, we will start usually on Thursday a little bit. There's some harvest we will do. Friday is a big harvest day. In the winter, it's not as nearly as intense as the summer because I kind of equate us as like the soap sellers and the crafters that always have product on hand.
Yeah.
They're not out there going nuts harvesting or making their stuff right the day before.
Yeah.
So in the wintertime, we like go through squash, potatoes. You have to go through this stuff on a regular basis because it's living. Things rot.
Yeah.
You don't want to find like half your squash has rotted at the bottom of a huge box
Right.
because you didn't look at it.
Yeah.
So that's a big thing. You go through stuff. You pack things into crates. On market day, I'm usually out by 4:35 a.m.
Early.
organizing and doing things like bagging up greens. Those are picked the day before. or if I have time, I've been known to pick the day of, but
Yeah.
usually not. And
That's a lot to do in the morning.
bagging, each one gets a label, which takes a lot more time than one would think when you're doing like 150 bags.
I bet.
And I've had arguments with my husband. He thinks the labels on the bags are stupid. It's like, nope, they sell the product.
They do.
Oh yeah, they want to look at it and see what.
Exactly.
Sometimes to prove a point, I'll bring in like half the stuff's unlabeled. It's like,
Do that
and
in
it's
a
like,
few
and look
weeks.
what we're taking home, Eugene. It's all the unlabeled stuff because people don't know what stuff is with
Flip them over one of these markets. Like flip them over so the label's on the bottom, and I'll walk by and be like, well, how am I supposed to buy this? I don't know what it is.
Oh, people are like that. That's why we have signage,
Yeah,
Yeah.
which is part of your sales force.
100%. I just watched a video the other day. It was talking about something about the setup, and it is so important, to draw people in. And we do have vendors that have very simple setups, and that works for them. We were talking about one of our old meat vendors the other day that would just come out and plop out a table and bring his cooler.
He's
and
one of the last ones to
put
arrive.
a sign out,
Yep.
and he'd be one of the last ones to get there and one of the first ones out the door, and that worked for him.
did.
But for products like yours, I mean, produce is something you kind of want to look at. You want to
Exactly.
take in the color and the smell, and it matters. It totally
does.
matters.
Yeah, with meat, since they can't really display their meat anyhow,
Yeah. It has to be in the cooler.
or it melts, and
Yeah,
that freaks
that's
out
a
the
rare
health
thing.
department.
Though. If you're setting up a booth somewhere, you got to think about what the customer sees when they walk
Yep.
up.
Yep.
And is it easy? Is it easy on the eye to say, okay, here's my choices of greens, here's my choices of, or is it a just a big, open table of stuff that then you have to kind of sit there and figure out.
Is it well labeled?
Yeah. Is it well
Exactly.
labeled?
Yep. That's a big thing too. And I think you guys do a really good job of that, because not only is it on your products, but then you have the little tags sticking in your baskets. I mean, there's just numerous signage from you guys that makes it easy.
I've done a lot of studying on that.
Yeah. And you're very colorful.
Yes.
Nobody would guess that. But
No,
Color draws the eye.
That's
it
right.
does.
Don't get an orange easy up though.
No?
Who had one? I think it was Morrison Reeves has an orange easy up.
Uh-huh.
Look at the books underneath it. If they have any green in them, it turns black.
Really?
Yeah. I thought because in food service, food advertising, orange gets people hungry.
Oh,
That's
I've
why
heard
a
yellow
lot of
too.
a lot of restaurants have an orange color theme.
Right.
That's why. So I thought, ooh, or because we were looking at getting a couple of new easy ups.
Yeah.
And these days you can get colored tops for like maybe $5 extra now. Used to be like 200 extra to go colored.
I should find a tie-dye one.
Wouldn't that be
fun.
cool? It's hard. I talked to a woman at a party once who was a cloth expert and asked her about that. And she said, no, you can't dye that kind
Really?
of.
Oh.
I
She's
could
like,
see
you
that.
can, but it's
I was going to say, we have a couple tie-dye vendors. I
I
bet they could take that
know.
on as a challenge, but not if it's not the right material.
yeah. She said the material doesn't take ink. You can get it to take
It's made
ink,
to
but
repel.
it takes like 2 weeks of prepping it to take ink. And she's like, so you're ending up with something you'd have to, if you're selling these, you have to charge like $1,000 for.
Wow.
And maybe a rich hippie would do it. I don't know. Not this one.
I don't know. I'd kind of like to see the orange easy up. I want to see what like black collars
Yeah.
look like. That would have been cool for Halloween.
Yeah.
But not the rest of the year.
No,
Interesting.
never know.
Brown worked okay. We got a cheap brown easy up that got broken in that horrible storm of 2 years ago.
So was that last summer?
Last-
2 summers ago.
Yeah.
Well, I guess now we just passed up another summer. Wow.
Yes, it's been
Yep.
2 summers ago.
Time flies.
I think a few people lost their canopy in that one.
Yep.
Yeah.
And other things. And
So while it may not be black collards, I know that you're a cook. So what is it that you like to cook with the most that you have?
Oh man, that's a hard one. Having really high-end fresh ingredients is a joy.
Yeah, I can imagine because you can just walk outside and pick what you want rather than some of us, we have to be like, oh, we have to get out or we'd have to go grab it if we don't have it on hand. But you have a luxury that most of us take for granted.
Oh, I know.
Are you big on preserving for the winter?
Not anymore. I used to be a lot bigger. We always do tomato sauce, tomato juice. I was going to do, because we had enough habaneros to do it, but they've all rotted now because I waited too long. But I was going to ferment them and make a hot sauce, which I did about 2 years ago, and we're going through the last jar. It was really good stuff.
I love hot sauce.
And had a lot of extra raspberries. So took the seeds out of them and froze most of it. Just it was puree. Just threw it into ice cube trays.
Yep.
And
I have a bunch of your raspberries in my freezer right now.
So you use some.
I used some.
Yeah.
I made a cake.
She made a nice cake.
I made a beautiful white chocolate raspberry cake with your raspberries.
Yum.
Awesome. Yeah.
I always love seeing what people come up with market ingredients.
But let's see, this summer I was doing a lot of simple salads.
Yeah.
And I do like doing salads a lot.
Yeah.
Salad was what got us into doing this in the first place.
Really?
Yes. I used to be a professional cook. And I started out as a dishwasher in this little Italian place called DePaulo's in Oxford, and family run. And this was in the 80s, and they were buying from local produce people long before Farm to Fork.
Okay.
It was run by an Italian family, and the oldest son, who's the head cook, he had a lot of hippie friends who were growing organic vegetables. So he's buying, supporting his friends.
Yeah, that's cool.
So one guy had this salad mix that was amazing. And he quit farming. He got married, had kids, quit farming because he didn't pay enough. So the salad mix went away, and I left the job and didn't realize at the time that there was a difference, that there were two food economies. This local economy that farmers markets, CSAs, farm stands make up, and then the main food economy that is Kroger's, Walmart, the big multinationals. And the big multinationals get their food from big farms that will grow salad mix on 500 acres. So I was looking for this homegrown organic salad mix. I thought Jungle Gyms would have it because they're not exactly a part of that economy, but yeah, they are. No, they didn't. And Earthbound Farms, it was organic, but not the same thing. So I met Eugene. This is going to be meander a little bit, but I met Eugene doing archaeology. I'd gotten a degree in anthropology, archaeology, got a job doing this. Met my future husband doing that. We stopped doing archaeology because contract archaeology is kind of a miserable line of work.
Oh, I bet.
Things they don't tell you when you go to school.
Yeah.
Right?
And real archaeology jobs, real digs where they're there finding amazing things. Those are hard jobs to get.
I bet.
Contract archaeology, they're following pipelines. Because there's federal laws about you have to check out archaeology, you have to check out certain biological stuff so you're not nuking some endangered species. for the archaeology on most of these pipelines, it's silly because they're already in and they're going through subdivisions and parking lots. It's like,
It's a little late to check them now.
yeah, but they pay people.
Yeah.
So that's where I met Eugene. And we ended up on what we call our starter farm that we were there for, I think, 11 years. And, oh my God, I just had a brain fart.
Was that in Ohio?
Yeah. Starter farm was in Ohio.
Is that when you started to make your own lettuce mix?
Yep. That's where we started the lettuce mix. That was the first crop, along with on our what we thought was a huge market garden. I think it was 25 feet by 75 feet, which for a home garden is a huge garden.
Yeah.
But for a market garden, no. And so we started with this lettuce mix, which was pretty close to what the restaurant had, and a whole lot better than anything I could buy.
Were you growing it just for yourselves at that point, or were you selling it?
We were selling it.
Okay.
So were you guys farmers? I know you mentioned the archaeology. Were you farmers before that? Or did you just decide, you know what, we're going to just do the thing?
Pretty much. We both had gardened a lot. I had worked on horse farms, and I kind of thought that's the kind of farmer I'd be, as horse trainer and breeder and have a whole bunch of horses and maybe board. No, did not do that. While we were starting up the farm, I worked on a lot. Well, I worked on one horse farm, on and off.
Do you have horses now?
Nope.
But you have ducks.
I have ducks. Don't have a desire really to have horses.
Interesting. It's crazy how life changes courses.
Kind of want a goat, but
I think we all want goats.
yeah.
If anyone's goats. I live in a neighborhood. Do you think they let me have a goat? 'Cause I'd like one.
You could get a pygmy.
That'd be cute.
They're only like that big.
That would be so cute.
Get along with Coda pretty
Oh
good.
my God, you get along with my bulldog so good.
I can picture that now. Yep.
So we're growing this huge market garden. And we decide, Eugene had been doing on and off since, like, with his dad. They would do, he's from Yellow Springs, and Yellow Springs would have, which has become the Yellow Springs Street Fair, but they'd have these neighborhood huge yard sale. So that's how the Yellow Springs Street Fair started. It was a big citywide city. It's a village-wise yard sale.
Interesting.
And then Eugene and his dad started going to, I think it's Caesar's Creek, which is a big flea market in Southwest Ohio. I don't know what they were selling, but that's a pretty big step towards going into the farmers market business. And then we meet, we're doing archaeology, decide we don't want to do that anymore. So I became a fraternity cook. What was he doing? Working for Miami University, I think in the recycling center. And we're living in College Corner, and our landlord, who was a really close friend of mine, but could be a little crazy, decided one day we needed to leave.
Oh, nice.
So
Maybe that's the push you needed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Eugene's like, I have a friend who's got some property up in Preble County. I'll see if he's got any available. Yeah, he did. And Eugene went from a crappy job in a recycling center to no job, putting a house back together so we could live in it over winter.
Is that where you're at now?
No. That was our starter farm.
Okay.
And we had no intention of farming. We had rented a 30-acre farm, of which 29 of it was being farmed by some conventional guy doing soybeans. And we had, I guess, a 1.5, 2-acre lawn.
But you could still do a lot with that.
Yeah. So we got chickens, and there were a couple of apple trees that produced apples. And Oh, and the raspberry patch that was just this like 100 by 100-foot solid bramble of raspberries. Wow. We couldn't get in. We could just pick around the edge until one day Eugene just got bold and took a lawnmower in and just took out.
Oh my goodness.
That's funny.
A bunch of plants just so we could have a way into the center of, and we planted strawberries and then one day he decided after he'd gotten the house pretty much, I guess it'd be our second year there, we're planting a big garden. Let's find a farmer's market and take it there. And we found the Richmond Farmers Market.
Wow.
So that's where you started?
Yep.
Oh, wow. I didn't know that.
And we showed up with no table. So we just plopped things on the tarmac.
Wow.
I love that.
We had, let's see, what were we growing? We had tomatoes, so we probably waited until July, August to get into this. Yeah. Tim Downing was set up next to us. And he encouraged us, actually.
Oh, good.
At first, he's just like, they're never going to make it. They're just not going to make it.
Look at you now.
And we showed up the next year.
There you go.
We had gotten an acre. We'd convinced our landlords to give us an acre. And they did.
I think that's a big plus of the Richmond Farmers Market is that the vendors are so supportive of each other.
Yeah.
Everyone wants to see each other succeed. And even if you're selling a product that's similar to, someone down the lane or a farm down the road, you still, everybody kind of has their niche and you build, your own customer base.
Yep.
But are very supportive and helpful to one another. And, even situations where, was it last winter? You were stuck in the mud and a vendor that wishes to remain nameless came and pulled you out?
Actually, it was...
was it 2 winters ago?
No. Was it last? It must have been last winter.
It was last winter.
Yeah, it was last.
Drove all the way out there just to help you get out of the mud.
And this was not during market hours.
No.
This was just a thing.
It was like on a Wednesday or Thursday. And if you hadn't gotten us out, I don't know how we would have gotten to market.
Yeah, you would have not been able to make the market.
The market van was just sinking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was raining.
It's a community. It's for sure a family and a community.
It is.
Yeah.
Which is something I really like about this market. I've been in several others that...
We like, too, with the winter market, it feels, we love the summer market for many, many reasons, but the winter market is almost just a little bit more intimate, a little bit more, we can see everyone who comes in.
It's nice to slow down. It's more intimate.
Yeah.
Like it's a completely different vibe than the summer market.
We get to talk to you guys more, We're all just a little bit closer. Well, you're stuck with us the whole year. We're right next to you. Yeah. But no, but it's nice because it's a different feel, but it's a nice.
It's a really cool venue.
Yeah,
it is. We're lucky to have that.
Yeah,
you can thank COVID for that.
Yeah,
years ago, when Caleb Smith was managing, he talked me into getting onto the advisory board. He's like, you have ideas. And so I talked Eugene into also attending these meetings. And we were looking for a place to go. I think we were at Star Elementary School. We'd grown out of that. And finding a venue that can house, I think at that time it was just like 25 people.
Yeah.
It's
really hard.
Yeah. We're up to, the magic number is what, 30, 35-ish?
I think we have about 35. Yeah.
Yeah.
Plus the dailies.
Plus our daily passes. And I mean, realistically, we can only fit about 37 into Star Jeanette. So we've got a pretty well-rounded number to go in there. Yep. But I always wondered, when was that light bulb moment that made Star Jeanette appear?
I can tell you this. Eugene, years ago, get the Piano Factory. He's an Earlham grad.
Of course it came from Eugene.
Yeah.
And so Caleb went down there with Denise, and they're like, no way. I mean, it was just this shell of a building.
It was open.
Open, no heat, and nothing on the windows.
Yep.
Shakespeare Festival was using it. And it was like, just no way. Where are we going to get the money?
Yeah.
And Caleb was new. He didn't know how to raise money at that point in time, but he got really good at it.
Yeah.
Raised a lot of money.
And so I think we went to the bar down where Sierra works, and that didn't work out. And then we went to the senior center, which price was right.
Yeah.
Yep.
Free.
Mm-hmm. Location, not so much.
Okay, good parking, but
Yeah.
really hard to house everybody. We had
Yeah.
the gymnasium, and
Yeah.
then we had overflow, and anybody who was in overflow got no business.
Yeah.
And they wouldn't let us use the kitchen. I don't know why. They had a reason.
Yeah.
Something about asbestos. I think they were lying to us, frankly. We just don't want you to use it. There's an asbestos problem.
Yeah.
Just don't ask questions. So then COVID hit, and that shut down the senior center and shut down the farmers market until, God, when did they resume? June or something.
Yeah.
But it also freed up a lot of money.
Yeah.
And I don't know if he was using PPP money or what. They did have a big fundraiser, and
Yeah. I remember the fundraiser.
which was like $100,000 they needed to get everything in, and it happened.
Yeah.
And now we've got a pretty permanent spot.
Yeah.
That's cool.
We love this building. It is, and people, it's cold. And I mean, we do everything we can to keep it warm in there, but we're so lucky to have a covered venue. We can have the market year round. That's not
They
a
can
very
go to
common thing.
They could go to Oxford.
And
They
stand
don't want to
outside
mark.
in the snow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if you do produce, you can't sell if it's
Right.
under 32
I
degrees.
know it'll ruin everything.
And if it's raining or snowing, you've got craft vendors that can't set up.
That's right.
Their stuff will be ruined. And so,
And people aren't going to come out if it's crappy
Right.
weather.
and we've grown to the point where people say, well, if we don't have space for everybody to come to the market that
Yeah.
Saturday that wants to come, well, we'll just set up outside. And it's like, we haven't gotten there yet to know if that's the right answer or not. But
Yeah.
a lot of people don't realize that even though it might be a little chilly in there from time to time, we're pretty lucky.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're
I
pretty
think we're the
lucky.
ones that have to take the brunt end of that because, yeah, it's really cold. But, we're in there for hours and hours, and
Right.
the typical customer's in there for, half an hour. So they
Right.
don't get cold to the bone. I know one of my favorite videos is the one I have of you, Lucy, where you had your hands like in your pockets and that intense temperature change when she'd take her hands out.
Oh,
So it
yeah.
would just,
I had
like,
hand
smoke.
warmers.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
So you take them out and it just looked like her hands were smoking.
Yeah.
That was
And it was-
that was like one of the negative.
I know. I think that day we only
Wind
had
chill
like,
days.
10,
Yeah.
15 vendors because it's very, very cold out. I
Yeah.
don't remember if it was snowing that day, but it was one of our lighter days for sure. But I mean, customers were so grateful, even
Very.
though it was that cold.
Yeah.
They were so grateful that you were there.
Yeah. Well, it's, the programs that we're able to offer now with the WIC matching program and the SNAP benefits program,
Yeah.
people rely on that. They want to come out and maximize
Customers
their
do, the vendors
benefits.
do. You take both of those.
Yes, I do.
Yep. So we try to be there as, unless it's a dire situation, we're going to be there,
Yep.
and we might only have 10 vendors, but we'll be 10
Or
vendors
in
strong.
the case of, when we had hurricane come through, we
Yeah.
had, what was it? Eight that showed up that
Yeah.
one Saturday. And on a Saturday summer market, I've never seen that before. But, we watched a customer walk up to Big Divots and said, I'm so grateful that you're here.
Yeah.
All right, Lucy. So for those of us that may not be at the market every single week, how can they find you outside of the Richmond Farmers Market?
We've got a Facebook page. Facebook, what is that? Backslash
Backsplash. I like that.
Boulder Belt. Might be Boulder Belt
I
Eco
think it's
Farm.
Boulder Belt Eco Farm.
Yeah.
I tag you in a lot of things.
We have a website, boulderbelt.com, and you can text me at 937-683-3819. We also have a CSA or farm share where people pay us up front and get food for 8 weeks. We're not taking any new members right now, but we will be opening it up again, I guess in March or April, depending on how mild the weather is.
Yeah.
And that's a weekly pickup, isn't it?
That's a weekly pickup. We don't do it at the farmers market because we simply don't have enough people interested in it in Richmond right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But they can go to the market and pay for it if they want, can't they?
Yes, they can.
Yep.
And you're at the market. I could probably count on one hand the number of markets you've missed in the
don't
last
miss
3
many.
years. So
No.
Yeah.
always at the market.
Yeah. We might miss one, maybe two. Actually, this year, the one I was going to skip ended up
You didn't
being...
skip.
I know.
No, it ended
you
up
ended
being
up coming
canceled.
out. Yeah. Was that the yard sale weekend?
No, they
No,
came
it was,
that weekend.
we came for that one.
I remember you saying you weren't going to come, and then you did.
It was a Tuesday market.
Oh, it was the heat, the excessive heat.
Yeah.
Oh, right.
Where everybody decided, we're not coming out in this.
Yeah. It's like 105
Yeah.
heat index or something.
Is that the one we canceled?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. That's crazy. I've never had to cancel a market because of the heat wave. And that was the one time one vendor that has never come to a Tuesday market showed up to the Tuesday market.
Of
Downing.
course.
Was it Tim?
Yes.
It was Tim Downing.
It was Tim. Yeah.
He sat there for like 2 hours and said, "Where is everybody?"
Yeah.
Did he sell anything?
I don't know.
He stayed back there for a little bit. I don't think he sold a whole lot because it's 100+ degrees. Who's going to come out, you
Right.
know? But give him props for trying,
Yeah.
you know. But he didn't call me till like what? It was like 5 o'clock. I was like, why are you at Elstro right now?
Was he on the back road?
Yep, his usual spot. He was back there, but he had not got the notifications that it was canceled because he's not usually on that roll call list because he doesn't attend the Tuesday markets.
Right.
And he said, well, I thought we didn't cancel these. Like, I think he said, unless there's a tornado or something. I said, well, in my 3 years of being here, we've never canceled a Tuesday market. But the one time I do, and the one time you want to come, of course, it's this Tuesday.
Of course.
So, yeah. But other than Tuesdays, I mean, our market's open when?
Every Saturday from 9 a.m. to noon. And starting this Saturday, November 2nd, we'll be at the Star Jeanette building at 101 South 1st Street in Richmond through the end of April. So.
And we have a lot of people that have trouble finding Star Jeanette sometimes. So if you're looking for Star Jeanette, if you go and put it in your maps, make sure you're putting 101 South 1st Street. I think that's where a lot of people get caught up. They don't put that south in there, so it takes them, what do we hear, like around the high school?
Yeah.
One person told me it tried to take them to Liberty, Indiana, so I don't know what 1st Street it's trying to take you to, but just make sure it's South 1st Street, right across from Veteran Memorial Park.
And they just redid the mural out front. So when you're coming
got a
off of
big
Main
arrow.
Street, it's got a big arrow. It looks really nice.
Cool.
Yeah. So
They redid the
We're
whole
excited.
wall.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah, it looks really nice. And we've got a new sign out there too for us. So
Cool.
yeah.
Yeah, that wall was looking pretty dangerous last year.
Yeah. Well, thank you for joining us. It's
been
always nice
fun.
talking to you.
yeah.